Hello and welcome to Get Into Games on Air, a podcast about board games and the people who play them. My name is Craig and I will be your host, steering this ship through the stormy weather. And with me is my co-host, Becky, or aka Mrs. Get Into Games, because originality is not something that we do. You can say hello, it is allowed.
Hi.
Wonderful. Look at that. We're doing a podcast. This is episode 1 of our brand new podcast. This episode is titled Resolutions and Revelations. Why is it titled that? Well, that's because today we are going to talk about our year in board gaming of 2023. We're going to look back and remember those memorable moments. We're going to range our top 3 board games for you, talk about our stats, and give you a bit of a look and an insight into what 2024 looks like for us. How was your board gaming experience of 2023? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it distinctly average?
It was pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. There were some amazing games out there this year. Really top-notch year for board games. A lot to get through and a lot to unpack. A lot of games that I missed out and didn't get a chance to play, which was a bit upsetting. But there's always 2024.
We did play a lot of games.
We played a lot of games, which will lead us straight into our first part. We're going to talk about our statistics. This was our first year that we really went into board game stats using the BG Stats app, which was very exciting. That we gave ourselves massive challenges that were almost impossible to reach. Mammoth targets with incredibly heavy games in our top 10 list. Things like Scythe and Ark Nova and Nemesis. Some people called us crazy, and that was me saying it to myself. Let's chat. Let's discuss what we did with our stats. What challenges did we do last year?
So we had a player game every day, which we completed.
We completed that game. We did complete that every day.
We played a total of 1,150 games.
That's insane to think that we had played so many board games. This is including both digitally and with people in person. No one's got time to stat them separately. I know some people will begrudge they will look at me and go, "How dare you?" But I don't care. That's how we've done it. You do you.
We did play 364. So obviously, before we played a game every day, I picked the challenge 364 plays. Okay. So we surpassed that.
Well, yeah, we definitely did that one.
By quite a lot. We did the Alphabet Challenge.
Finally did the Alphabet Challenge. I think we did it on the 29th of December.
Thanks to Games with Beanie.
Absolutely. Thanks to our friends Games with Beanie on Instagram. Give them a follow. We luckily played a game of X-Nimpt, which is a really interesting version of Six-Nimpt. We might be discussing that a little bit later on. But yes, finally did that one. That one felt good. That one felt the best one to complete that one, actually.
Yeah. And then we had 2 that we didn't complete. So we had play our unplayed owned games. We managed to play 58% of them, but there was still a lot of games that were unplayed.
I think the problem there as well is games come into the collection. So it's difficult. Sometimes you have to feel a bit lucky from time to time to be sent previews and review copies and things like that. But they do end up taking spaces away from your unplayed games, your shelf of shame or shelf of opportunity, depending on which way you look at it. And unfortunately, 58%. We still played half of the ones that we hadn't played. And realistically, we're quite good, I would say, to be honest. We don't have a 100 game shelf of shame. We probably have about 6.
Well, when we get new games in, we tend to try and play them as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I just think the latter half of the year got quite busy, and then some new ones like 3 Ring Circus came in at the end of the year. We haven't played it yet, but we'll get to it.
Yep, early January that one will be, I think.
And then we had our 10 by 10, which was interesting. I think initially we thought, let's pick games that we know we want to play.
Yeah, we played games that we wanted to play. We wanted to get to the table more. Games we fell in love with in 2022. We picked games we really wanted to get into. No pun intended. Of course, it was a pun. So that's great too. Yeah, we played a lot of games that we wanted to get to the table. Games we loved. And we did pick a couple of new ones because we felt they deserved the chance to get to the table. So yeah, which ones did we...
So we had Planet Unknown, which we played 6 times. So that was quite good. Ark Nova we played 3 times. I think that included an online.
I think that was 2 games on BGA and 1 game in real life.
Tenpenny Parks we played 4 times.
Yeah, we started well on that one as well. We started at the beginning of the year. I think we played it 4 times and then went, yeah, we've played Tenpenny Parks quite a few times.
I think because it plays better
higher
at higher player counts.
Yeah.
So I think playing it a 2-player, we just got a bit maybe bored of it. I don't think I could play 10 games in it. I'm not sure. Scythe, we played 3 games, including an epic 5-player game, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite good going for Scythe.
Yeah. I mean, considering we play a lot of games at 2, Scythe isn't best at 2. There's no reason to get into confrontation. There's no real reason you can just mind your own business, and it's only a little bit of argument over the factory in the middle, but pretty much 3 games pretty good, and one incredibly long, huge game of Scythe, which I think any other game would be more of a disappointment after playing it at such a massive player count.
Yeah, it was really good. And then Star Wars Clone Wars we played 8 times, so that was quite good.
I'm surprised we didn't close that one out, to be honest. I would have thought we'd have got Star Wars Clone Wars Pandemic game to the table a couple of more times this year, considering how quick and easy it is to go. But alas,
well, considering our last play of it was apparently the 26th of July.
Yeah.
So we did have a few months where we could have played it, but we obviously picked other things. We played Root 4 times.
Okay.
Viticulture we played Viticulture World, we played 5 times.
Yeah, and again, I think we started off the year. I think most of these things were started off at the year, played a huge amount of them, and you kind of go, well, once I've played 5 or 6 of these games at that many times, I burn out a little bit.
I think also I felt like we had to play them because they were on our 10 by 10, and then I sort of got the thing where if I'm told I have to play it, I don't want to play it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we played 2 games of Nemesis Lockdown, which is always great, but it's a big setup.
It's a huge setup. A lot of time. Yeah.
So I think 10 games of that may have been a little ambitious.
Yes.
And then we played Terracotta Army. Yeah, it says once, but I think we played it twice.
I've played it twice. I've taught it a couple of times. Again, it's a game that really suits a higher player count. At 2, it's just when you're building that mausoleum up and you're putting in the little statues. It's great and it looks stunning on the table, but you need more people. You really need more people to get the full effect of it.
And then Witchstone we played a couple of times, but you're not sold on it. I quite like it, but
I'm warming to it, but it's not something that I am desperate to get to the table that often. It's fine. It looks pretty. The meeples are adorable. The art is great. It's a fun game, but there's just something about it that isn't. It's just not drawing me back, not drawing it back to the table. But
so we did play a couple of games of each of them, and some of them we were closer to the 10. But in the end, it says we completed 38% of that challenge. But I think we may have been over ambitious for our first time recording stats. But
definitely. If you're definitely trying to do 10, I mean that's a huge ask for the year. Because there's so many other games. There's so many games. There's too many games, in fact. And I want to play them all. They're like Pokemon. But we were ambitious. There were great games on that list, and unfortunately, we just didn't quite get there with that. But that was it. That was all our challenges, wasn't it, for 2023?
Yeah. I think that was enough challenges.
That's what we did. Yeah, I mean, bearing in mind, like, all the other things we do I do on my Get Into Games over on Instagram, all the other challenges that we take part in, all of the different hashtag challenges during the month of October. The busiest...
I don't know what happens in October.
Nothing. I've no idea.
I can remember.
I have no clue what happens in October. But
it's not like you mention it at all.
I don't say anything about October, and almost threatened to take over Instagram during the month.
I don't think you've mentioned it this year, have you?
I haven't mentioned it this year. No, that's true. This is the first time I've mentioned it this year.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you mentioned it earlier.
I did mention it earlier when we were going over our notes.
No, you mentioned it on Instagram, didn't you? Or was that
Probably
in December?
I have no idea when. I've lost track of time. It's been the Christmas holidays. No one's gone back to work or school yet.
I'm pretty sure
and
you did
I probably
a
did.
countdown, didn't you?
I probably
8 months. Or...
Yes, I did.
No,
Okay,
10
I've
months
mentioned
or...
it already, but maybe I mentioned that in at the end. I don't know what's happened. Things are stuff. Yes. So that was that was that. That was definitely our stats. But yeah, other than stats and what we did and what took over, like there were so many really cool first time, second time highlights in board gaming this year, and some of the highlights, a huge portion of those highlights have come from conventions and meeting the people that we've grown to know and grown to love over Instagram and stuff like that. So, I mean, the year started with us almost not going to AirCon. We had tremendous snow and we got stuck, and the day before we were going, can we even make it up to AirCon, up to Harrogate? But we did, and it was really good. It was really worth it. I really loved going to AirCon, getting to meet some different Instagamers and Instagrammers from the north of England, because a lot of the time they don't come down to UKG that much, or the south. So getting to meet some of those fellows over there, getting to meet board game celebrities like Matthew Jude and Paula Deming and Rodney Smith and Chaz Marler and Monique and Naveen, and just an amazing group of people to get to see, to get to game with, to get to play with, to get to talk to. It was really cool.
We took the children, didn't we? It's just a nicer convention to take children to, because there's a lot of open gaming. So we just found ourselves a table, sat down, got ourselves food. It was kind of nice and relaxed. And then if you wanted to walk around and see the stalls and check out
absolutely,
the board games, then you can do that. But
it was like one main hall for kind of trade. Hachette had sort of the biggest stand. There was Cosmos had a little stand, and it was all around. It was really good. But yeah, like you said, like it's good definitely good for families with young children like us. You can kind of do a lot of stuff without having to worry too much. Sit down, game at your leisure. The food was really good. Really good. The little food carts they have outside. So if there is a convention you're planning on going to this year, definitely AirCon I would highly recommend. On that same week, we went on the way home, we went to Warhammer World.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Just to see all these like incredibly talented artists who have painted all these models and dioramas and stuff is out of this world. So 100%, if you are going up that way to AirCon, on your way back, or if you are up that way, go to Warhammer World as well. It's just amazing. I think it's so good, whether you really like Warhammer as a hobby, in the hobby or not. I think it's a perfect thing to do, to see.
And it's about halfway from like us. So we live in Northampton way.
Yeah.
And it's about halfway to Harrogate, so it was quite a nice.
It was a good stop off. They have this really nice Bugman's XXX kind of pub that they've made out. The restaurant, they made it out to look like a pub that the dwarves would having their drinks in before going fighting the dragon, and that makes me very happy. That was cool, and the tanks outside and stuff like that. That's a really, really good little thing. Speaking of conventions, obviously, huge highlight, probably the highlight of a board gaming year, board gaming conventions at all, would be UKGE. It was made very special this year. I don't know, I just felt like we took our kids every day this time.
Not every day, we had one day.
Oh no, we had one day with us. I had the press event on the Thursday.
We had Friday, just us.
Yeah.
And then we took them on Saturday and Sunday. Well, we weren't planning on taking them on Sunday, but we had such a great time on the Saturday that they wanted to go back.
Yeah,
and it was great.
Absolutely, yeah, it's so good, and getting to meet so many. I think it was the first year that I knew of so many of our Instagram people from other countries. Dennis, Ordinary Board Gamer, Angel, Board Game Angel, Board Julie, Erline, solo, mostly solo. Sorry.
Mostly solo.
Yeah, a huge range of.
You're going to miss someone
people.
off.
I'm going to miss
You'll be
people off.
upset now.
I'm sorry if I missed you. If I missed you, I actually named you. You didn't hear it. If you if you go back to the very beginning of the podcast and listen to the whole thing again,
Yeah, it's in the line that says all Instagrammers.
yeah. But so if you go to the beginning and listen to the whole podcast again, if you didn't catch it that time, you go back to the beginning and listen to it again, because then at least that's 3 listens that we get out of it. So that's quite good.
Anyway, we love you all.
Yeah. So that was good. And again, we got to see obviously the UK group as always. John Trywin from Trywin Games was representing his own game, Can't Go, the game of Poop and Points, which was very exciting to see it live in action.
Yes, you have to choose your words carefully.
Yeah, absolutely. But I was happy to see that and happy to give that one a good go. But it was a huge amount of stuff.
There's so much to see that even being there for 4 days, you don't see it all. Like, even on the Sunday, we were walking around.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, did I see that? And I haven't seen that before. So there's so much to do.
Yeah. There was so much I missed as well. Like Outrun the Bear was there, and I completely missed that. So many things I missed at that. But you will.
And we did some open gaming. We went to the Hilton. Was it the Hilton?
Yep, the Hilton.
And then you left me at the Hilton.
I left you
with all the Instagrammers.
That's it.
Because you went to a secret meeting.
I went to 2 secret meetings.
Yes, you did.
I went to 2 secret meetings. One secret meeting was was a shindig that Ordinary Board Gamer, that's our young friend Dennis, go give him a little follow, had a secret rendezvous with some pre-release games from a certain publisher.
Yeah, I'm sure you can say it now, can't you?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Are you building up to it? Sorry.
No, I wasn't building up to it. I just wasn't going to say it. So Alley Cat Games ran a secret party with some prototypes of their release games, new release or coming to release games, which was fun. Would have been more fun if the games were complete and actually operating and people knew how to play them. But that's just tea for people. But yeah, it was good. It was really nice to go there. We got pizza. Dennis didn't have any pizza because there was nothing suitable for people who are gluten intolerant. But that, again, tea. So that was fun. That was a really nice time. Got to meet Rosie from Cozy Board Games. She's a lovely, lovely, lovely person, human person. It was good. And then I also went to play be one of the first people in the UK. I was told first person people in the UK by Flav from Hachette. I don't know if that was true or he was just trying to get me to come and play. But I got to play with Florian Sirier's brand new game, The Art Project, which was an absolute highlight of UKG. The game has blown my mind. I was so excited for it to be released, and I was just waiting constantly, messaging Hachette going, "Is it now? Is it now?"
I think you bought it like the day it came out.
Yeah, I did. After going, "Is it now? Is it now?"
Didn't I come home and you just
yeah.
You just
I just said I've done a bad thing. I just bought it. I don't care. I bought it. It's so good, and I'm happy that I did.
It is really good.
So played that with Aaron, Board Game Overlord, Gingerbeard Geek Dad, I believe, and 2 others. And I didn't play it with 2 others. I played it with 1 other. Because I was one of them.
You are a bad man. You can't remember names.
I can't remember the 4th one. And
that poor person is going to be waiting for the name to be...
I know his name, but it's too special to mention on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
He deserves a higher amount, a better level of praise, I would say. So it was, incredible game. We lost on that game with 4 of us learning. Really good. But yes, yourself, what did you think of UKG? How did you write? Giant King of Tokyo, obviously, always a highlight.
I just really enjoyed... I thought it would be really tricky to take the kids to. I thought it would be really busy and that it would just be really stressful to take the kids to. But actually, I really enjoyed it. And they were so enthralled with all the bits and pieces. And there were lots of games for them to try. And the imagination station in the middle where you could just grab a table and then go and play loads of different games was fab because we sat there for a while. The Hubba, is it Hubba?
Yeah.
Hubba table was great. We played lots of games there. Our littlest got a little bit scared by the dress that
the cosplayers. Yeah.
But our oldest loved it. So I was actually really surprised how well the kids did there actually, which was why we were able to take them for the Sunday as well.
Yeah,
but I think it was just really nice to do that as a family. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to run through just quickly some of the other highlights of. Obviously, they were the main big ones, as well as all our UK Instagram gamer meetups, mostly run by the wonderful Jenny Board Game Family UK. But she normally hosts them all. I hosted one myself. MollyCon, that's what we're going with. That's the name of it, MollyCon, in the Midlands-ish area. That's the name I'm going with, but it's lovely. It's known as something else, which I'll leave down to other people to mention.
People listening,
they do. That's fine. ScootCon, run by Out of Town Games, and
we met Nanda. That was nice.
And Nick from Board Game Review UK. Yes, we did meet Nanda at that. We met a few people at that. Dice and Dishes, I believe, as well. Might have got that one wrong as well, but hey, that's what I'm here for. I'm not professional.
And we introduced some of our friends to the Instagram.
Yeah. So we had a big old happy family time. Loads of good meetups throughout the year. Did you have any other big highlights of the year, really?
So for me, at MollyCon, the 5-player game of Scythe was amazing.
Yep.
I never thought I'd be able to play that game at that player count, and actually now I don't really want to play it 2-player. It was really good.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we got to fit it in because it's quite a long one, but we all made a beeline for the table, sat down, set it up, and managed to play. So that was really great. I had it down meeting Dennis, Ordinary Board Gamer. For me, managing to play 53 games of Blood on the Clock Tower was pretty amazing. Some of those in person, some of those online with, the same group. But I love that game, and I love that we were able to play that many.
Yeah, I think it feels like we played almost one a week. Obviously, not including games that I've storytelled outside of my main gaming group, running the Dicebox Board Game Cafe. That's a free plug. Running it for friends for their work training sessions like that kind of thing. Yeah, but Blood on the Clock Tower was a big thing.
And then I put down getting to know Games with Beanie a bit better, and now they've been to our house, we've been to their house, we've met up outside, and just making those connections with people who have similar interests and hobbies is really nice.
Yeah, I mean my other big highlights really. I've got written down here, finally getting a copy of My City, the Roll and Write, because it's only been a million years since I first played that. Finally getting that's a highlight because I really like that game.
And we played that with PJ.
We played that with the Cajun gamer, PJ, and his lovely wife, Katie. We played that, PJ, of course, from Meeple to Meeple. Another great podcast that I may have been on a couple of episodes, so it's worth a check out there. One of the greatest highlights of my Instagram this year was the release of Everdell Farshaw, and everyone on Instagram collectively losing their flipping minds over the game was just amazing. Like, oh my gosh, they've made a game, this new Everdell game, and everyone's been sent it for free. Everyone's got it. Oh my gosh, now we're all angry because people are getting games for free. Why wasn't it me? And then saying it's all the same as Everdell, and then it's not. And then Everdell's great. Everdell Farshaw is also great. Yeah, of course, because Farshaw's really good. I don't mind. I'm going to say it. Farshaw is really good.
I do like it, but I think Everdell is fine.
Everdell is better at higher player counts. Farshaw is good at 2. I think at 4 it struggles.
We played it at 4 with Games at Beanie, sorry. And it just felt a bit long. And when you get 4 of those boats on the board, it's really difficult to see.
Yeah, they don't fit on the board, and yeah.
You might as well just have the meeple.
Yeah.
Or
a little cardboard chip kind of thing.
But I like Everdell. I like the system.
Yeah.
But I play either of them happily because they're very pleasing to the eye. And,
yeah. And when they release another one, I'll still probably buy it. Yeah. And the other thing, massive highlight, obviously for myself. I'm gonna say it. I've said it twice in the podcast
Don't
already.
Say it.
Is hashtag Boardtober 2023 this year was insanely huge. Loads of people
take up most of your life.
It does. It takes up most of my life, and then in November and December, I am going.
The calendar was chock-a-block with giveaways.
Yeah, I think it was 17 giveaways, and then it rolled over into November because there were some giveaways that were meant to come that were late. And then there were more people going, do you want to give away this? I was like, oh my gosh, how much can I do?
I had to help you type all those names into the wheel. It took forever.
The spinny wheel. I've got to work out a better way of hosting giveaways because, my gosh, I've got a repetitive strain injury. I could probably type out all your Instagram handles in my sleep now.
When people pop up now on my Instagram, I go, oh yes, I'll type that name into
Yeah, 4,000 times. But yeah, Boardtober 2023 was incredible. And again, if you are listening to this and you took part, thank you so much. It's the biggest thing for me. It's the most fun thing that I do on Instagram. Love taking part of it. Love the banter. Love just the chaos of it all. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. They're some of the highlights. There are obviously going to be more, but I would say that they are there. Which is going to lead me now to say, what are your top 3 games of 2023? Do you want to do one each, or do you want to just go and say all of them? You want to do your 3, my 3, or do you want to do one each?
Should we do our honourable mentions first?
All right then.
So,
excuse me.
Oh, quietly dying.
That was a nice little cough there.
My honourable mention has to go to Blood on the Clock Tower, just because of the memories that I have attached to that from this year. I could go into the things that have happened, but I would bore everybody. But they stick in my mind, and whenever I get together with the group of players that we play with, I just always have a great time. So that has to be my honourable mention.
Yeah. I have 3 honourable mentions. I'm going to say them really quickly.
Okay.
One of my honourable mentions is the Footsteps of Darwin, a game that we saw and played at Aircon, fell in love with, then regretted not buying until we found it and bought it. The other one is an honourable mention. It's the White Castle. I love the White Castle. It's a stunning game. I need to play it more. If I played it more than I had played it, I think we played it a couple of times.
Yeah.
If I'd played it more, it would probably crack my top 3. But at the moment, it's a perfect game. At 2, I really enjoy it. It's really thinky, really puzzling, and short enough that you can play multiple games. You can sort of play it, finish it, and go, let's go again. Even though it is one of those really thinky, kind of difficult, puzzly games.
I was talking to Always Plays Blue on Instagram.
Yep.
And when he first got it, or when they first got it, they were playing back-to-back games of it because it's that easy to
just re-rack. Yeah. And my last honourable mention is Robot Quest Arena. Played that at UKGE for the first time.
Well, we had a demo, didn't we?
Yeah, had a demo with the designer. It's incredible. Robot Wars, the board game, the deck building board game. It's Star Realms, but with adorable robots. It's just, table presence is stunning. It's silly. It's fun. It's everything you want in a bit of a board game. Yeah, and there is a new Kickstarter coming, which sets it to an 11-player play account with another 4 robots and a huge board. Which is insane. And I want it. So your top. 3. Where are we
Well,
going?
I think we might have one that's the same. But
Do we? Okay, let's go. Let's have one that's the same. Well, let's not do
Well,
that
should we
one.
go?
You go 3, 2, 1, or
Okay.
are they no particular order?
Yeah, they're kind of 3, 2, 1.
All right.
So, my third one is one that we've just got recently, but it's quite a chill game. Played it a couple of times with Games with Beanie when they came up to us, and that is Lacuna. You have a mat. You shake these flower pieces onto the mat, and then you have gold or silver pieces that you have to place between the flowers to take the pieces, and you're trying to get area control over, if your piece is nearest to a flower, then you're going to collect it at the end. It's a very peaceful, very pleasing, very relaxing game. It's very quick, and it's low stakes, but I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it's really nice, really peaceful game, really good. My number 3 is Expeditions, the sequel to Scythe. I wasn't sure when I first got it, and a little bit of me really loves it. There's something about it. It's my thing with it is if you love Scythe, you might not love Expeditions. If you don't like Scythe, you probably will like Expeditions, but probably won't buy it because you don't like Scythe. So it's in this really weird, sticky situation. I think it's really well designed. It's got a mix of, for me, Wayfarers of the South Tigris, the whole building up your kind of tableau, but getting comboing up the actions that you take. It's got the exploration of Lost Ruins of Arnak. It does feel like a game has come along mechanically to a point, and then they've gone, right, this is a cool idea for a game. These are really cool mechanics. What theme should we put on it? Scythe. Bang. There it goes. But I've taught it a couple of times now. I've played it a few times now. Every time I play it, I enjoy it. It feels quicker than Scythe. It's a slow burn to start, but once you do get going, you start comboing stuff. It's really satisfying. And to me, it's a really, really nice game. And it scales really well. If you want to play Scythe at 2 players, Expeditions gives you that feeling. And it works really well at 2 player.
Do you think it's better at 2 player or a higher player count?
I think
I've only ever played it with you, but I just wonder whether it's better at 3, 4.
It feels like a slog at like 5. At maximum player count, it feels like a really long game. I like it at 2 because the only benefit of more players is it blocks some of the spaces because you can't get in direct combat. So in 2 player, there's always somewhere to go. Whereas in 5 player, there's not always going to be somewhere you can get to. I like it at any play count so far, but I'm happy that it works so well at 2 because for me and you, we don't always play with a huge amount of people. Yeah. It's easy to get off the shelf and get tabled.
I also think that I've forgotten what I was going to say. It was about Expeditions.
It's very, very beautiful.
It was so obviously important that I've completely forgotten what.
Well, you'll remember. If it comes back to you, you can tell us during your number 2.
Okay.
Not during your number 2. That's awful. We're not recording in there. There would be terrible echoes.
Oh, I remembered what I was going to say now.
See?
I also think that the way the game is set up is a bit like Everdell in that the way you set up the cards very much favours 2 people sat next to each other looking at it.
Oh yeah, it's people make.
But if you've got 4 people around a table, you don't get the same.
Yeah, too many board games have been made with boards that point a specific direction, and if you're on the back of the board, it looks a bit strange. It's like Everdell being behind the tree. Yeah, you're right. The board is upside down, so if you're further away from like the wing conditions, it can be a bit annoying. Understood.
So my number 2 is Distilled. I love that game. All about distilling your own whiskey and vodka and
tequila and all the good stuff.
And I just love the way you build up your cards and then you cream off the top and the bottom and you get to see whether it makes the alcohol. It's incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, the push your luck side.
When it doesn't make the thing, or if you use your signature flavour and it doesn't make the alcohol that it should. But it's such a beautiful game and I just love it.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agreed. Distilled was going to be on my list, 100%, but I knew
Did
it
you
was
not
going to be
pick-
on your
oh,
list,
okay.
so I didn't because I knew we'd give it some love anyway. It's an incredible game. Yeah. There's something about it that just again plays really well at all the player counts as well. By the sounds of it, it's almost simultaneous play as well, so it shouldn't last. I've heard like people playing at 5 players and it takes 100 years, but I don't
That's a
see
slight
how.
exaggeration.
No, it's not. It's all right then. 99
It's not
years,
the 100 years war, is it?
99 years, if that's an exaggeration. But I don't see how a game that can play simultaneously can last that long. Speaking of which, my number 2 is After Us, the master of segues and simultaneous plays.
Yes.
That's me.
Such
After
a nice
Us,
game.
Planet of the Apes, the board game, basically. It was the hotness of UKGE this year. Everyone was running in, selling out in 20 minutes. Running in to get the exclusive UK GE copy with Big Ben on the cover. I didn't run in. I was slow, and I was like, okay, it sounds interesting. I don't get it. I don't get what all the fuss is about.
We weren't even interested in it
No,
to start with.
I learned it on. I learned it at work. I went, actually, this does sound really good. Played it a couple of times on BGA and went, yeah, I want that. So I went into the shop and I bought that exclusive UKGE cover about 6 months after UKGE. So still got the thing for less money. I didn't have to run in and kick down the doors and buy it in 20 minutes. And ended up being one of the most played games we played last year.
It's just very different to anything else we have. Just the way so I didn't understand to begin with when we were playing on BGA how it worked, and I was just clicking any old thing. But the way you get the cards to line up, and then you get the different resources, and you build up the cards, and they get better and better. It just feels really nice when you play.
And I love the simultaneous kind of chaos that you're just running out, grabbing things. You're trying to grab your resources. You're moving everything really quickly.
You don't have to do it quickly.
No, but I like to do it quickly because it makes you feel like you're these apes, like grabbing the resources and bringing them in, and it makes you feel that kind of.
But it's like combo-tastic. So you can get some. What did we decide? They were apes, not monkeys.
They're definitely apes. They're 100%.
So you can get some apes that don't quite match up, and then you don't get as many resources, and then you can get a few that really line up, and you're like, "Wow, I'm doing all this stuff."
Amazing. It's really satisfying.
I thought I would prefer it on BGA, but actually, I quite like gathering the resources.
Yeah, definitely. So, what was your number 1?
My number 1 was Ticket to Ride Legacy. I mean, I posted about this yesterday. It is just amazing. We waited to do the podcast until we had completed Ticket to Ride Legacy because I just knew I wanted to talk about it. Not that I'm going to give any spoilers, because we wouldn't, but I never thought I would find something that topped Pandemic Legacy, and this smashed it out of the park, basically. I wasn't a massive Ticket to Ride fan before we started playing it. I played Ticket to Ride, it's quite nice, but not a massive fan. But this Legacy game just had everything I could have dreamed of, and every single chapter was different. There were no repeats. Like, we played My Island, which is a bit of a Legacy game, which felt a little disappointing because some of the chapters were very similar.
The last three chapters are identical. You play the game 3 times.
So, but this was never that. Like, even to the very last chapter where I thought, oh, okay, well, the last chapter is just going to be one more of the same as the one before. And there was still something different and still something to surprise me. And literally to the last card in the box, it surprised me that, absolutely loved it.
I think there's a whole podcast episode in itself just about that one game. I think there is definitely something to explore.
I think later in the year when more people have explored it, then we can talk about
absolutely. And my number one, I've already spoken about it. I've already waxed lyrical about it. Same artist and same designer as After Us is the art project. For me, it is it's just everything you want from a cooperative board game. It's challenging. It's really easy. The term family weight is bandied around a lot, and yes, and it does put people off because people don't like. Oh, but it's family weight, a family weight game. That must mean it's easy. No. For me, family weight can mean really easy to understand instructions, but a really difficult game to actually win, and that's what the beauty of the art project is. It's really hard, but it's a real challenge, but it is so simple, so straightforward, and that is why that is my number one game of the year. My experience with it at UKGE, obviously, maybe putting a bit more emphasis on that. We'll see where that ends up this year in 2024, whether I still think it's one of the best co-op games I've played. But for me personally, it is definitely up there.
There's a lot of replayability in it because there's lots of boards. So we've only really touched the surface of 2 boards.
Yeah.
So we've done the Nile and we've done Tokyo. But there's 4 others, aren't there?
There's 6 boards in total, yeah.
So there's quite a lot of replayability. We played with our 9-year-old, and she really enjoys it. But it's quite nice because we can work on it together and help her.
And there's not a huge amount of that alpha gamer kind of stuff that Pandemic gets. Like, I'll just tell you what to do and we'll do it. You can kind of really, you have to negotiate. You have to discuss what you're doing. So that's why it's definitely up there as my number one.
I had sorry to interrupt. I had some kid version games that I thought were mentioning. They weren't honourable mentions and they're not my top 3, but just some things like Stomp the Plank.
Yep. Brilliant game.
Brilliant. The kids love that, but also the adults.
That's definitely a children in inverted commas game. It's not a drinking game. Don't make it a drinking game. It's not one of them.
Featherweight Fiesta.
Good fun.
Where you ping the
parrots and
birds off at the end.
Yep.
Goes down really well. Our 9-year-old loves Boop.
Yep. Boop and Spooky Boop.
And one that we just got in at the end of the year, which now seems to be, I mean, maybe it's going to beat Lacuna in my, maybe for next year. Om Shanti, which is like these weird balls.
Yeah, magic balls. They make them look like they glide, rather than roll because of the liquid inside them. It's very similar to shuffleboard.
Yeah,
it's like shuffleboard.
It's quite hard, but it's good fun.
Yeah.
And it comes in a fancy purple box.
So it looks lovely. That'll be coming up out on Instagram very soon. The thing is, I find with board games is there's so many of them, too many in fact, and it almost feels like you want to be able to play these new releases or great games and be able to somehow not keep them in your house all the time and just send them away. Now, I just wish that there was a way that we could do that.
There is.
What?
Shall I tell you about it?
Shocking. Explain to me, please.
Well, we're sponsored by Rent, Shuffle and Roll.
What?
Yes, I know. Rent, Shuffle and Roll let you rent any of their 1,000 games on a monthly basis so you can try before you buy or get access to a rolling selection of new games every month.
Every month?
Every month. How cool is that?
Amazing.
And if you're feeling mysterious, you could take a look at their new Mystery Vault selection and see what you can solve.
Wow.
If you use the code GITG, which is Get Into Game, 50 to support the show, and you get 50% off your first month.
50% off my first month just for writing GITG50?
That's
GITG50?
That's it.
Wow. That sounds like an amazing idea.
So that's pretty cool.
That would be great to have a sponsorship like that on our podcast.
Yeah, well, we do.
Amazing!
Yeah.
So make sure you go to Rent, Shuffle and Roll using the code GITG50 to get to not only support us and keep the lights on in this lovely kitchen we're recording in, but also get 50% off your first month. Okay, so this is a thing that we want to do as a reoccurring segment right now. This is called our board game menu. What we're going to do is very quickly and very briefly run down the perfect board game menu for you. I've got 3 games, a starter, a main, and a dessert, and so has Becky. She has got a wonderful starter to get you in the mood, a main to fill you up with excitement, and a dessert to let you go, be relaxed, and fully satisfied at the end of your games night. We're going to knock these ones out of the park, and do you want to go first, or should I go first? Do you want me to go first?
I think you're deciding you're going first.
I'm going to go first. So, to start, I have got a wonderful little game by Wolfgang Kramer called Six Nimmt. Six Nimmt is a wonderful little card game. It's quite stressful, but quite easy at the same time. You're just drawing cards, you're playing them down, you don't want to pick up the 6th one. The first person to zero... Sorry?
In a line.
In a line.
Pick up the
first person to run out of points. End of the game, whoever's got the most points left of their 66 points wins. The perfect starter. For me, my main course, after you've played your game of Six Nimmt and you've let that settle in your loins, is, I don't know why your loins,
What?
That just came out, is Everdell, the perfect, cozy, worker placement critter game to give you just enough strategy. And it's my favourite game. So because it's my favourite game and it's my menu, that's why you've got it as the main. Just a wonderful tableau building worker placement game by James A. Wilson with beautiful art by Andrew Bosley. Stunning game. And for dessert, we have My Goldmine from Cosmos Games. This is a game designed by, and I will apologise for this right now, but I don't have to worry that Dr. Hans Joachim is listening, or Michael Loth, or Christo and Schulberg. No, I don't have to worry about that. But they're the games.
That says Christoph Schilling.
Christoph Schilling,
yeah.
Michael Loth, and Dr. Hans Joachim. Thank you for My Goldmine. My Goldmine is the absolute perfect push your luck game where you are dwarves in a cave, mining for gold and trying to escape a dragon that is ready to eat you. It's the ultimate push your luck game, the ultimate hilarious way to end your evening before going home and getting that taxi and driving all the way to your
or just
home
going to bed
for sleep, or just going upstairs, just going to bed. If you've got stairs, if you haven't got stairs, you don't go up the stairs. You go to
whatever happens after playing the game.
Whatever you choose to do after your
Let's
third
leave it
game.
Open-ended.
Open-ended, okay.
Listeners.
Well, then if we leave it open-ended, they can play another
They
game.
may have
They're
turned
not
off
allowed.
by now.
They've definitely turned off by now. If you're still here, thanks. If you're still here, leave a funny emoji in the comments. Thanks. Right, your turn.
Okay, so my starter is a new to me game, which is Kites. The designer is Kevin Hamano, and the artist is Beth Sobel, and the publisher is Floodgate Games. This is a great one for gamers, non-gamers. It's a good one to start a night off with. It's easy to grasp. You have, I think it's 5 or 6 sound timers, which are representing colourful kites. And you are flipping the sound timers to try and keep them up in the air. And it's just, we've played it with family, we've played it with friends. It's just a great one to get everybody in the mood for playing games. It's really easy, really accessible. And you want to try again when all the kites come crashing down. There's additional challenges you can add, like storms incoming.
Aeroplanes.
Yeah, aeroplanes and cross
Twisted
lines,
ropes, yeah.
But it's just a good one to get everybody warmed up and everybody familiar with each other.
That's it.
My main course is my personal favourite game, which is Viticulture by Jamie Stegmaier and Alan Stone. And both Beth Sobel does some artwork on that too. So I've got 2 Beth Sobel artwork games.
Right.
The publisher is Stonemaier Games. I love Viticulture. You are owners of a vineyard and you are trying to make your wine, or you have to grow your vines first of all, then you have to harvest your vines and you make your wine and you sell it. Money and resources are really tight, So you have to really think carefully about what you're going to do because it's played over certain seasons. I would say that's more for gamers. I remember our first few games, we thought the rule set was really tricky. And now we play it and we're like, well, what were we thinking? It's actually quite easy. It's very relaxing. It feels really nice to play it.
Yeah.
It's not stressful. It's not overly competitive. I mean, it's competitive in that it's hard to beat each other, but you're not vying for places and things all of the time.
It doesn't feel vindictive when you're going against each other at all.
No, it's not that. It's not take that type thing. No. There's other things that you can do. So that's my main course. So I definitely play that. And then my dessert course is one that you mentioned earlier. A nice, calming, relaxing end to the night. Just very satisfying. And that is In the Footsteps of Darwin. And the designers on that are Gregory Grod and Matteo Verdier. And the artists are Maud Briand and David Sutton. And the publisher is Sorry We Are French, which makes me laugh because I thought it was in French when we went to UKDU, but that's just the name of the publisher. And in that one, you are junior naturalists, I found out, because I didn't actually know that before I did the research for the podcast.
Oh, you did? Oh.
On the Beagle, trying to help Darwin finish Origin of the Species. And you are studying animals and you're gaining bonuses and you're moving the Beagle, collecting points. But it is so beautiful. The artwork is so beautiful that it's just really relaxing. And I just think it would be the perfect end to a gaming night with friends. Kids can play it. It's very accessible to everybody.
Yeah. It's a good game. Good choice.
Yeah.
Very good. So that's our board game menu. So please leave a comment which menu you would prefer to have, and also just leave a menu if you'd want to mix those menus up and play as one of our starters or whatever. Or leave a comment and tell us your board game menu. That would be
I'd
cool.
like to hear other people's menus.
Yeah. I want to know where the people are. No, I want to know what you all want. And that brings us near to the end of our podcast. But the one thing about our podcast was about revolutions. No, it wasn't. What was our podcast? Resolutions and revelations. This isn't the Matrix. So resolutions. What is 2024 looking like for Get Into Games?
And Mrs. Get Into Games.
And Mrs. Yeah, that's newly one. Changed. You've changed your Twitter, your Instagram handle.
Which is completely different.
No.
I am going to use my Instagram to post more board game things. I'm obviously also joining you for this podcast.
Yes, apparently I'm going to have to do research because you said you did research. I have to do research for a podcast.
To be fed.
Me too. Fly by the seat of my pants.
The whole challenge thing to me when we were discussing this for the podcast, sometimes too many challenges can be quite restricting, like we found with the 10 by 10. I don't want to play those games. I want to play what I feel like playing on a Friday evening when I get in from work. Like, I don't want to be told I have to play, and I know I set it myself.
Yeah.
But I want to see what happens. So I personally think we should have less challenges.
Yeah, I agree. I think sometimes you set... I think it was our first year, we got excited. We said we'd do all these things. We did some of them. Also, the pressure of doing that kind of thing, it puts pressure on the hobby. And the hobby is about playing games at the end of the day and enjoying the games you played. Instagram is great. Being able to do this podcast is fantastic. YouTube, all the things that we do, all the things that we can post about, all the reviews and stuff that we write for the website, all of that stuff is brilliant. It's great to be able to do that. I do feel that sometimes it takes over from the hobby itself. I want to, as my resolution, get back to just really enjoying the hobby and being able to share what I enjoy more than worrying about, I have to do this, I have to share this. And I think, and now I've got a task, I've got to play this game 15 million times. Oh, I've got to learn this, I've got to do this. Life's busy enough. So I think, less challenges. And we've got a couple. We're going to do two, other than our Instagram and our like that side of things. So what are we going to do?
So I think it is perfectly reasonable to think that we can play 20 new to me games. When we meet up with people at cons, when we meet up with our friends, often we'll play games that we haven't played. So when we met up with Games with Beanie, we played Isle of Cats, we played Century Golem. We'd never played those before. And I really enjoy doing that because it's about having other people teach you a game that they know and love.
Yep.
So I put play 20 new to me games. I think across the course of the year, we will play 20 new to me.
I think, yeah, we'll definitely do more than that, probably. But yeah.
But I think that comes in tandem with playing the games that we love to play.
Yep.
So I've put play 20 old favourites because everybody's searching for the new all the time.
Yep, cult of the
new. But
new.
there are some brilliant games out there. Like we played Lords of Waterdeep with our friends.
Yeah.
That's an old game, but you know, it was fab and we had a great time with it. And I don't want to always be searching for, what's coming next? Actually, let's look back and go onto the shelf and find the games that actually we loved at the start when we started the hobby.
Yeah.
And let's go back to those and see. Yeah. One, if we don't enjoy them anymore, we can play it and get rid of it. But we might find some gems that we've forgotten, and often when we do go back to those ones that, you know, Imhotep and Flashpoint and things that Pandemic that we started the hobby, we do have a good time with those games, and I don't want them to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important to not just worry about Cult of the New, and I know Cult of the New is hot, and I know that's what people listening, they want to hear about those new favourites, and trust me, we will have those new games, and we will talk about those new games an awful lot. But definitely remembering what brought you to the hobby in the first place and those classics that are classics for a reason. Yeah, and I think that's it. They're our main resolutions. That's the main thing. That's the main crux of what we're going to get out of the year. Who knows, the following year, we're going to see if we can still hit over 1,000 plays without any pressure. We pressured ourselves to play a game every day. Without the pressure, will we still hit that number? Who knows? Hopefully we do, because we love to play board games, and that's what we do. So, yeah, that's going to be us. We're going to have a later. Maybe next year we'll hit stats again and we'll try again with the big things. But thank you so much for listening to this first ever episode of the Get Into Games On Air podcast. Please, if you enjoyed what you listened to, please leave a 5-star review on your podcatcher of choice. That really helps the podcast. It helps the algorithm and it helps our reach. And feel free to obviously leave comments, leave your menu, leave your favourite games of 2023, leave comments and tell us about all the things that you enjoy about the hobby and why you love the hobby and what got you into games in the first place. So from me, thank you so much. And from Becky,
thank you.
Are you going to say goodbye to the people? Look at the people.
Goodbye, people.
Are you waving?
I am waving.
She's waving. We're both waving. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening.